Mystics, I have a question for you. We know or we believe that God never changes, but is it possible that how we relate to Him, that can change in a human's history or in human history? Well, that's the conversation we're having today on the podcast. It's one that I think is really interesting. And as always, I promise that if you listen to it all the way through, you will feel better when you're done. So let's get started.
This is a production of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of moving stories for corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners. Please help us keep the conversation going by rating, liking, and subscribing to this podcast. Thank you. Also, make sure to check out our other podcasts, Hope for Humans, funny, usable conversations to help change the world around you, and Got a Minute Mini Podcast, presenting funny stories and independent music, all in about 15 minutes. Now, here's Jay and Anjanette Webster.
This is the Mixed Up Mystics podcast, and we are thrilled to be back with you. We have so much to talk about. I don't even know if I can come up with the title for this
now I'm
conversation.
Concerned.
Yeah, a lot happening. We'll just call it intimacy.
That's nice.
And speaking of intimacy, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to The Dreamery. The Dreamery is our newsletter for all things Mixed Up Mystics and the Hope for Humans podcast and all the things we do with Dreamers Live. And it has some bonus articles in there. It has some bonus music on there. It has links to columns and all kinds of great photos and everything. And it also tells you kind of what's happening with each of our podcasts. So you'll find out what's going on with God a Minute, and you'll find out what's going on with Hope for Humans, and
I like that.
all the latest stuff. It has quick, easy to access links that you can, just go to each of those things.
It's been a good way to put everything that we do creatively in one spot. And it just, I think we publish it once a month online.
That's right.
And we'll never give your email out to anyone else. We promise.
But our friend Jan just messaged me today. He says, I heard you talking about the Dreamery on your podcast. Sign me up. So anyway, you can private message us or reach out to us or just do whatever you need to do. But give us your email address and we'll get it to you. And if you want to send your phone number, sometimes we send out the little messages on your phone too. You can do that.
Yeah.
And it's all individual. There's no group messaging, so you're not sharing your information with anybody. It's just us.
That's right.
It'll be just our little secret.
And we never do that more than a couple times a month.
Yeah, we don't bombard your inbox, but it is
we don't
cool.
like that either.
It is cool, and it does kind of create a little sense of community, and it's just another point of contact we get to have with you. So anyway, it's the Dreamery. It is our newsletter, and sign up for today by just sending us your email address and or phone number, and we will get it to you. In fact, there's I think an episode's coming out, an issue rather. It's coming out this week, so
nice.
Sign up quickly.
Okay,
and
good deal.
Also, we just, of course, had a Dreamers Live event to start the month, but we have another one coming up on March 13th. What are we doing on that one?
March 13th is our St. Patrick's weekend warm-up. So we have an Irish-themed Dreamers event, which is really fun.
Yes, we do.
There will be munchies and green treats. No green beer because
That's right.
Jay
That's
wants
sacrilege.
good actual Irish beer, but we will have green shamrock sippers and lots of munchies, and it's just it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
They're all fun. Lots
Love
of green
it.
decorations and fun places to take pictures. But the main thing is we'll be talking about something that is encouraging. And then we'll also help you get to know some people that are open-hearted and open-minded. It's the Dreamers Live thing has really become a really neat deal. So
this is the thing that many people would not know about you is that,
Me?
speaking of St. Patrick's Day, me? No.
wait, what?
You really like the Irish corned beef.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's so good.
When you can get it done properly, when you can get it done right, and it has all the spices and seasonings and the slow cook,
it's like terrible for you. So you can literally only have it once a year.
Most Irish food is. There's not like a whole lot of Irish food. They say this is especially good for you.
That is so true. But
It's
I mean,
basically
one time,
potatoes and fat meat.
yeah, I looked at it and I was like, oh my Lord. Because at our favorite grocery store, Aldi, shout out to my friends at Aldi, woo, they always have it, which is random, and you can buy your own. And it's super expensive now, but it used to be like you could get like a small corned beef, which is kind of like a roast. It is a roast, right?
Yeah.
You could get it for like $8 or $9. And so, but here's the thing about making your own corned beef is the very first time we ever did it, we were camping. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do.
In our little Shasta Air Flight, we have a little trailer that Jay doesn't love as much
It's
as
available for purchase anytime anybody wants to do
Angel and I do. But we were going into Tulsa for the St. Patty's festivities, so we thought, well, let's make the corned beef in the crock pot in the camper.
Yes.
And probably because we just super slow cooked it over maybe 16 hours, but it was like fall off the bone, just
fall off the crock
delicious. Fall off the crock pot. It was so good. The
Yes.
other times we tried making it on
It's
our own.
never lived up to it since
It
then.
just didn't do that. It was more like a steak you
It's
had
like
to cut.
cocaine. You just keep chasing that first
I
high.
don't know. But anyway, yes, that was a long story. We will
Yeah.
not have
I've
corned.
never done cocaine, kids. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It will kill you, but it's nothing wrong.
Oh my gosh. We will not have corned beef at the
No.
St. Patty's Dreamers, but we will have other fun munchies.
We
for
will.
Sure.
And
It's too hard to make.
And it's a lot of fun. It is at the Pioneer Dream Studios, our lair in the heart of the known universe, right here in the heart of the Bible Belt, the bedazzled belt buckle of the Bible Belt.
That's right. We
And,
bedazzle it green this time
yes,
of year.
we do. And it's a lot of fun. The Dreamers Live events have always been great. I think this is our 5th season, but something new has happened with them. And I think we touched on this on the Hope for Humans podcast, but there was just like a sense of warmth and expectancy when people
Yeah.
get there now. Like sometimes in the past, because I don't think people always knew what it was, and that if you're showing it for the first time, you can be apprehensive and what is
Yeah.
this thing going to be? And are they
Now
going to
they-
ask me for anything? But when they show up now, it's all of our dreamer friends, and they
Yeah.
get there and they want to hang out
Yeah.
and they want to connect, and it's a lot of fun.
And my favorite thing is we always have some new people. My
Yeah.
favorite thing is watching how like kind and sweet the other people are. They're
Yes.
like, "Oh, you're new," and
they
they
become little dreamer
invite them
ambassadors
to their table.
Right.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Yeah.
By the way, this is how you know we're married, because I think it was the start of our 4th season. So you need to look that up, buddy.
I'll check
All right.
myself before I wreck myself. Speaking of the Hope for Humans, that's the latest episode of the Hope for Humans, is check yourself
Before you
wreck yourself. And it is well worth a listen, and you will feel better, I guarantee it, after you've listened to it.
That was pretty funny.
But that's not why you called.
What's happening today?
Today, everybody has their little routine and stuff. So you and I have a routine for our week where it's pretty much we get to go, work out 4 or 5 times a week and all that kind of stuff. But Wednesday is that's the day we record the podcast.
Yes.
That's the day we do a bunch of music stuff. You're recording stuff and all that kind of deal.
We devote it to purely creative ventures if we can.
And it's kind of exciting for us because it's the day where you actually just get to get dressed at home instead of leaving in workout clothes
and changing at the gym.
Changing in the gym and all that
I
kind
know.
of stuff. So it's
but
really
hey, that's like something to put on your gratitude
Oh, my
list. Like,
gosh,
it's
yeah.
Wednesday. We just get to get dressed.
So my habit has been that I go to Outpost Coffee and I sit there and I put on headphones, and it's always a thing when you go to the coffee shop to work because it's all about how you stage yourself. So if you have the
True.
laptop open and the
you're-
headphones on,
and you're in the
you're in
zone.
the zone and you're kind of like this,
Yeah.
it can say, yes, I'm in a public space, but no, I'm not open to the public. And then of course you will inevitably see, masses working their way towards you, and you realize that someone is coming in. Sometimes they're coming in hot and they're going to connect with you no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Like you playing the keyboard and someone comes to talk to
Yeah.
you while you're singing
Oh,
at the keyboard.
Singing and playing, and they come. It happened to me just the other
Yeah.
day, and I was like, "Ma'am, I'm busy."
I am busy.
I mean, they don't even wait till you take a
Yeah.
breath in between phrases. I'm sorry, it's okay.
Where's your parents? Okay, that's not the time. But at the coffee shop, I kind of have this thing like there's a short list of people that I will kind of look up from, and it's the body language is everything. So if you
Yeah.
look up and someone's coming your way and you kind of wave,
Yeah,
that says hello,
but
I'm
I'm
working.
busy. Yeah.
If you look up and you take one headphone out, it says,
you're on.
I'm coming out to say hello, but this is going to be short-lived because notice I still have my other head. I'm still prepared for work. This is just I'm just waving and saying hello. I'm doing a verbal hello.
Oh, you think the one earphone says hello?
But if you take off both headphones and
yeah.
you set the glasses down, that says, we can converse for a minute here. This is going to be fine. And I have a short list of people that I will do that for, because even though I'm at the public place, I am working. And,
Right.
And that's, I'm just trying to get
I
a little
mean, not
different.
that you don't love everybody. The point
Love 'em to
is,
death.
you've got
Yeah.
we live in a smallish city, and especially at that particular coffee shop. I love Outpost, but it's hard for me to go in there.
I feel like
'cause
I'm
you see so
saying
many
too
people.
much right now because now someone's going to come up to me at Outpost and they're going to judge, do I take both headphones out or
See,
not?
I feel like, you better be careful.
I may have to go back and edit this.
It's It'll be okay. Just know that if they don't do it, it's not that you're not worthy. It's that you're really, really trying to get something written.
But your brother Jared will come to Outpost occasionally, and we have the same, working parameters on stuff. So he knows.
He knows. He's going to say,
he can
hey.
read the system, and we have this running joke about, if you're going to engage or not engage, I'm going to let myself go, as your dad would say, and all that kind of stuff. And so my friend Randy C., who's a friend of the show and everything, and listens to the podcast.
Shout out to Randy. Love that guy.
And we've known Randy for 35 years, probably. And
why do you always round up? Makes us sound older.
Well, I just do the math. That's all.
Don't do it.
So Randy will show up. He's at Outpost a lot of mornings and stuff. And on Wednesdays, occasionally he'll show up when I'm there. And sometimes I can talk to him and sometimes I can't. And he's super cool to know when those times are. But today I had the window. So he and I started talking. And he's always, he'll even say 2 or 3 times, hey, I know you probably need to go. And if this is too long or whatever. But
he's
no,
so
he's
polite.
good. And so we got to talk for a while today. And
that's cool.
There's something special about having a friendship that goes a length of time, so if that's 5, 10, 15, or 35 years, if you have a track record in history and you both have seen some life. Mm-hmm. So, he comes from this same era that we reference on the show a lot, from the 90s era, Christianity in America kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so we overlap a lot of stuff. But, you just can't help it for the most part. If you've lived that length of time, you've seen some stuff. And you've seen some good times and you've seen some bad times.
Yeah.
And Randy has seen some of both, and he's really lived through some hard stuff, and he's a great guy. And but going through those hard things have allowed him to be really honest about where he is, about what he's feeling, about what he's experiencing. It also makes him really helpful for other people around him because he's able to be honest, and so he's a real support to a lot of people. And so we were just talking today about the difference of trying to, quote, practice Christianity now in this current experience of history and life and for ourselves versus what we experienced back in the 90s.
Oh, man, what a conversation.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the turbo evangelical movement that we were part of, and we were all very sincerely part of it. And there were some good things that I feel like came from it. But you live some life, a few decades, especially with some of the things Randy and his family have been through.
Yeah.
And you have the opportunity to leave what you believe.
Right. And an awful lot of those people, an awful lot of people that we knew, either from our own church or from Christianity at large in the city and in this area, a significant portion of those people would not qualify themselves as Christians. As Christians.
I wouldn't either.
As practicing Christians, as in part of a church and a thing and a deal.
Yeah, and understandably, because of some of the things they went through, it's tough sometimes. It's hard sometimes, or you end up like Randy, with a real deepening of your faith and a real honest and raw look at what you believe, which I feel like is always more helpful to people. We don't need anybody else that's acting like they've got it together.
I don't need to be around anybody perfect anymore.
No, but show me exactly. Show me somebody who's really suffered.
Yes.
And is trying to hang in there.
Yeah, as we say, we want to talk to the people with skinned knees and dirty shirts and who've been through it.
There's a real sweetness to it. I don't really want to hear from anybody else that thinks they have it together.
Well, and that's the amazing thing about being in a friendship and a relationship with somebody for that length of time is,
his story and he knows yours.
Well, you can be honest with each other. So, he's relating things. I'm thinking, God, that's exactly the way I feel.
Really?
That's
cool.
And I'm grateful that someone else is able to be honest and say, what they're going through, because I'm thinking, oh, I'm not the only one who feels this way. This is great. Mm-hmm. And, I'd say that in the 90s, there was this experience of feeling like we knew a lot, feeling like we had some things kind of buttoned down.
Sure.
And not necessarily just, our church body, but a lot of the church at the time, because we ended up working for Christian organizations. So we were exposed to a lot of Christianity in America, much broader than our, quote, home church.
For sure.
And so I feel like in that time period, we were very cocooned in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
there was
it's a great
as we've
word.
talked about a lot, there was the us versus them. There was the church And that was kind of within this building
Yeah.
and sort of with this extended family outside of that.
the church at
But
large.
it was the church, and then there was the quote, the world.
world,
And that was out there, and that was the threat all the time.
Yeah, and
was
which
the
we
world.
just like to call them now, just people.
Just people. they just people. And so because we were in that little cocoon, we felt like we knew a lot. We felt like we understood a lot. We kind of had our parameters. We had our
Yeah.
tenets of faith. We had all this kind of stuff. It was pretty black and white.
Yes, our
And
outreaches
it really
and-
helped us. It was a comfort that it was black and white and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And the problem was we had to go back outside the church building occasionally.
Problem was, it doesn't work.
Problem was that's not real. And so yeah, we kind of created a bubble universe. It's kind of like when the apocalypse happens, and then they literally they develop some kind of bubble thing that you live in, and that becomes the matrix,
Yeah.
and you go from there.
And it's all happy till somebody fails or some tragedy hits, and then it's tougher.
Yeah. And so here, Randy and I are talking about, gosh, man, now we're this length of time, 30 or 35 years later, and you're thinking, this is not where I thought I was going to be. I had this really, and I don't know, maybe you had something like this too. When I was young, and I would try and imagine myself older, or at least this age, 25, 30 years old.
Right, I was going to say 27.
I would envision myself as sort of like a Zen master. Like I will have accomplished a certain level of spiritual
Yeah.
maturity. I will be like a Yoda or Obi-Wan kind of
A guru.
a person. It's not that I thought that highly of myself. I would thought that I would achieve a certain level of wisdom, that I would be unflappable. I would,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be bothered by sin anymore. I would have all that. I could really be helpful, and and I could laugh at the world around me because it
that you
didn't bother.
had risen above it. Yeah.
And surprise, that did not happen.
Does not happen.
Listeners may know, gentle listeners, you may know.
Yes,
that,
gentle readers. Perhaps it's the opposite, because the older I get, the less I know.
So that's what Randy and I are talking about. And so I said, I thought I was going to be the Zen master at this age, and instead, I find myself knowing less and being assured of less now than I thought I was at that age. And I said, it's funny because we've kind of oriented our lives in a lot of ways towards spreading light, and this is who we are. I mean, this belief system, this practice, this relationship is who we are. So it kind of goes into every part of our lives. It goes into all the corporate stuff we do at some level. It's just, it just bleeds into everything.
Well, I like to think it's just because that's just who we are, and
Yes.
we try to.
We're not trying to push something on somebody.
No, we're going to be that way
Right.
no matter what setting we're in. And my dad talks a lot about the concept of living a seamless life.
Yes.
So
This is going somewhere, by the way, people. I know we're painting a dark picture now. But this is going to.
This is good. You got to set the stage. But the seamless idea is, that you're the same person. You're going
Everywhere.
to love on people, whether
Right.
you're, at a parent support group meeting, or you're playing a gig, or you're speaking somewhere.
Yeah. And so in the 90s, I think we felt a pressure to take this thing that we had encapsulated and give that to other people and say, this is what you need, and sign on the insurance dotted line and do these things.
And it was out of,
It was really out of love.
compassion.
But and now with Randy, I'm saying, I don't even know what we're selling. I don't even know what this thing is. What's funny is, in a way,
So true.
in so many ways, I am more assured of who we are and what this practice is than ever before. It just doesn't look like the thing that we thought it was, way back when.
Yes. Yeah. That's so true. I would say why knowing less than I ever have, I also cling to my friendship with God at a
Yes.
deeper
Yeah.
level,
Right.
like for survival, like hanging in,
Yes.
kind of a deal. And so in a weird way, I know less, but I feel like I'm connected more, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of where this conversation
Oh, did it?
landed.
That's
yeah,
cool.
which is very sweet.
I'm not alone. Thanks for not inviting me to coffee with you and Brandy.
yeah, women aren't allowed, and so
What?
it's just they're not
Well, we can come, but we're not allowed to speak.
right.
Good
And
point.
you didn't have your hair in the bun.
Stand there and look
You
pretty.
didn't have your long skirt on or your hair in a bun, so we couldn't do it.
I could arrange it.
No, I said to Randy, or this is kind of the conclusion we got to. I said, I think it's interesting And this kind of goes into like even the conversation we had in the last episode where we were talking about there's so much happening in the world around us. There's so much happening in our personal lives. How do we know what's right? How do we know what steps to take? How do we know what we should do in any given moment? And part of the conclusion that we got to in the last episode was, and this was one of about 4 things, but the first one we got to was, okay, well, there's this spirit living in you. There's this DNA in us as humans, and especially as people who are practicing this Christianity. There's this spirit in us, and that thing guides us, and that thing helps us see, what is right and what is not, what is the right place to go. So if you're not of the Christian practice, you might refer to that as the universe. Well, the universe, I feel like the universe is telling me X, Y, or Z.
We hear that a lot.
But for you and I, and this has been true in our entire history as followers or believers, is that this thing has lived in us. This spirit has lived in us, this DNA, this spiritual DNA that I believe animates all life, even, non-Christians, Christians. I just believe that is the thing that animates the world, everything that's alive, plants, animals, whatever. And that spirit is living in us, and we rely on that to get a sense of what is right, in terms of making choices and decisions and all that kind of stuff. It's also the thing that causes, for me, insight or understanding or awareness. It's the thing that also helps me see, I can see that this person actually really needs a moment. They need help. They need encouragement. They need, whatever it is. And that spirit, that thing draws me to them. And so it's very alive and active. And what is interesting about that, as well as how it corresponds with this conversation with Randy, is unlike earlier in our practice where you could kind of rely on scriptures exclusively or kind of the practice of that. And there was there were steps. Yeah, there were steps you could take. Here are the rules.
Here's a plan.
Do this. Do these things. And in a lot of ways, as we found out, you can do all that and not be with Jesus. You can do all that, and you don't really need God to do that. You can follow a doctrine or a dogma or whatever and transact that. And what Randy and I were saying this morning, I think where we got to, which was that's kind of the way it was for us in the 90s to an extent. And so much of that has been stripped away as something you could lean on, as something you could hold on to and depend on. And now what is necessary in all of that is this personal and spiritual connection. And what's unique about that is it's intimacy. So where I could have lived my life in a sense, even as a quote unquote Christian without God, which seems weird to say, but it's true. Yeah. You can't do those things without God, and we've proved it. In this case, 30 years in, what is required in this new operating system, in this new history, is intimacy. And that is, I think, by design, because it is God's want and his desire to be with us and to be connected to us and have this living, breathing relationship. And so I think it's his design, without malice or harshness, to begin to remove the things that are crutches for us that get in the way, actually, of us being with him in some intimate moment.
Yeah. I think, I think, I hope that is true. I hope that is what's happening, because it is easier when you have the rules and the systems and we meet at these times and you do all this and you can feel secure in that. But when those things do begin to fade away, what you're left with, which is really the jewel anyway, is having to rely on the sense that you get of God's presence in your life and what he's leading you to do in a day.
Yes.
And it kind of reminds me, how when your kids, when you have a kid and they're little and you do more for them.
Yes.
And the old, there's this, and then you're going to put your socks on, and then you're going to do this, and you have this whole, order of things to help them. But as they get older, if you're doing it right, you you stop showing them so many of the
Right.
steps. And I'm even thinking about how our daughter now is 14, so she's enrolling for high school, which is insane.
Yes.
Especially because we're 27.
I know.
But
Someone's going to find out.
yeah, and so I'm used to. We of course advised her. We had a great conversation, but she's doing that today. They're doing it at school, and just the fact that we're not there guiding her through each step, but we also know who she is and the
Right.
things that we've taught her, and she knows who we are and the values that we have, and we trust that because of that relationship, for the
Yeah.
most part, she's gonna do what's right and do what's good.
Well, our history, within Christianity is really similar to, I think, at some level, especially your relationship with your parents. So there was that moment when you were born, and of course, I think, like you're describing, there was a lot of dependency and a lot of that kind of stuff. But the older you got, the further you wanted them to be away from you, which is natural.
Natural.
That's the normal thing. So
That's
you got
where
to be
we're at now.
Yeah, you got to be a teenager.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be away from you
have
pushed
to. You
them
want to make your own
do
decisions.
all this. I'm going to do myself. Do myself.
Do it myself.
And then as you got older, you kind of returned to an intimacy with your parents. And
Yeah,
now there's
definitely.
a deeper, and so it's even a deeper connection than when you were younger.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of the way I see this thing, that, there was that moment in the 80s and 90s where I thought I was kind of following. I thought I was doing that was to the best of my understanding
Sure.
at that moment. But now this thing is so much deeper and more intimate and more enriched. And when I say intimate, there's a part of that I experience alone, on my own, like, how we both have different routines, but in the morning time, especially, where, we might pray, meditate, read scriptures, read other stuff and all that stuff. And that's a lone intimacy.
Yeah.
But even the experience I had with Randy this morning, or what experience I'm having with you right now, is intimate, and is intimate with God, even though you and I are sharing this thing together.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, in this design of where we are right now in history, I find a lot of my intimate connection with the person of Jesus with and through other people,
Well, and that's
which seems like an oxymoron, but it's the reality of it.
no, but I mean, isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
If that is where we are, because it's sort of like God is forcing us to learn how to do more on our own without the rules, without the theology, without all those things that we used to hang our hats on. So we're having to become more reliant on his presence, which creates intimacy.
Yeah.
And then secondly, another way that we end up experiencing him is with other people, and he's forcing us to be with other people,
Right.
because as humans, we all tend to retreat. I
Yeah.
mean, for the most part. So it's pretty genius if that is part of what God's doing, that it was just like when you go through really tough times, you're very aware of your need for God.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you get a bad diagnosis and you're like, God, hey, oh my gosh, please help me. But there's an intimacy that comes from sharing that together
Right.
and asking for his help. We'd rather those times didn't come.
Yeah.
It was easier back when we had all the rules.
Yeah.
And now it seems like those lines are blurred.
Absolutely.
But what we can know and rely on is what we know.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have been married all these years, and there was a time in our early relationship, and that's we were disgusting. I mean, really.
We really were. You did not want to be in the same room or house with us.
God, we had like gross nicknames. One time there were matching sweatshirts.
I'm
Still embarrassed.
still, yeah.
Anyway, but we were young. But anyway,
And our lives were an open book. We used to say live and let live. We did. We did.
we did. Wait, is that secular music?
No,
Hold
as
up.
far as I know.
I probably didn't learn it. Anyway, but we might have to feel like we'd tell each other we love each other like 20 times a day,
Yeah.
or like meet for lunch every day, or do those things, and that was cute and that was exciting. But now, if I don't see you for a couple of days because you're traveling for work or whatever that is, like, I know you still love me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a deeper knowing, and we've shared.
Yeah, even though I might say, don't call me, It's because I'm concentrating on you.
That's a good point.
Right.
But the point is, I'm not going to freak out
Right.
because you didn't say you love me 7 times in a day, because we have history
Right.
together. And it's not always as romantic and cutesy as it used to be, but it's deeper.
Yeah, that's this part of this conversation that Randy and I had today, and which we've talked about on the podcast before. But it is so true. This intimacy creates these experiences that are life-saving experiences, so that when you hit difficult times and you hit difficult diagnoses and you hit spiritual catharsis, you can go back to those places. So I said to him in this conversation today, if I decided, this is too difficult, I am just making this stuff up. I mean, the whole Christianity thing and the whole deal and the whole belief system.
And by the way, everybody thinks that sometimes.
So I just feel like I'm just making this up. I'm just talking to the air, and this isn't real, and this whole thing. I think I'm done here. So to get to that place, or to do that, I would have to turn my back on this litany of personal experiences, all of these dreams that I've had, all the times when I heard God's voice, all the times when I felt God's presence, all the times when I've been with someone and heard this thing that I am supposed to say to them as an encouragement or as a love thing, because I feel it, but also because it's on behalf of the Father saying this to them. This is what he wants you to know right now. I don't phrase it that way. Right now I'm hearing a message from God for you. Yeah.
Speaking of the old days.
But you hear something that you know is not you. You hear something that you know you didn't come up with on your own. You hear something that is divinely inspired for that person, and then you say it and it hits them. It hits them.
Yeah.
And you've unlocked their heart, and you've spoken exactly what needed to be heard in that moment. I would have to turn my back on all those things.
I know.
And that's what intimacy does. So does it require a great deal more from us? Absolutely. Is it harder to do than just to run the rules and live by the dogma and do the thing? Yes. Does it take more time? Yes. But the reward in it is amazing.
Yeah. It's so much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people don't want that more, I guess. Or maybe it is they do.
There's a vulnerability that's involved in it, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens if what happens if I talk to the air out loud and no one answers?
Yeah.
What happens if I'm just making this up? What happens if I reach out to God and he's not there? That's a scary proposition.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, and I didn't mean that judgmentally, like I don't understand why people don't want to be closer to God.
What's wrong with these stupid people?
I think I was thinking back more to following all the rules in theology and jumping through all the hoops seems like so much work.
It was.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It was work, but it was work, but it was a knowable. I mean, that's the other part of it. Yes, it was a tremendous amount of effort. It was a lot of work. Yeah. And it was exhausting, but it was known. It was visible. It was something I could do to resolve this. It was not far removed from superstition. Just rub the rabbit's foot 3 times, throw the salt over your shoulder, and then do this enchantment, and then you're good.
Did you ever know anyone with a rabbit's foot? Quick aside.
I don't know if I ever had.
There was like a phase.
Of course
it was
I
like
did.
a keychain.
Every boy wanted a knife and a rabbit's foot.
Why?
A pocket knife and a rabbit's foot.
Please help me understand the rabbit's foot.
It's just a good luck charm.
Okay.
It was just a thing that was going to ward off. I don't know if it warded off bad luck, but it gave you good luck.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't so lucky for the rabbit, but for everybody else, it was supposed to be good.
It was a bad time. That's like when we see roadkill. Like they are having a bad day. Actually, they had a bad day. I'm sorry. I digress. Okay. So let's do this. Mm-hmm. If people hear us talking and they're like, as my friend Candy would say, what the hell?
What the hell?
Sorry. But it's just true funny. If I want to grow in intimacy, that's a fancy word. If I'd like to start being able to rely on that more instead of the rules, like how do you foster that? Do you want to take a minute?
I
Think about
Well, here are the three things that come to mind
Okay.
right away. The fourth that is important to you. I'm sorry.
What did you do?
I went to the Proverbs.
You did.
Here are the three things that are important
Boy,
to me. Four things that will never let you
are
down.
sounding like that guru you thought you'd become.
Okay. And some of these, gosh, we've talked about
I'll tell you if they're stupid.
so often. Okay. So the first thing I would suggest, and these are actually, oddly enough, these are things that Randy and I talked about today.
You guys already, why
We
don't you just
covered
have
a
Randy
lot
on the
of ground.
podcast?
Right.
You don't even need me.
Well, I didn't want to say it out loud, but
That's rude. And now my new co-host,
And
Randy'd
then,
be awesome.
okay. So the first
Okay,
thing
okay.
that we talked about was this thing we've talked about on the podcast a lot, which is being able to speak, out loud, which has a value to you and to other, I think spiritually it has a value. There's something about it, it's not something you want to do at a restaurant, but, if you're alone and you're
Don't get weird.
meditating or you're praying or
Yeah.
you're whatever you do, there's something about praying and being able to do that even out loud, I think is extremely powerful.
Okay.
And I don't understand it. I don't understand the metaphysics of it or the spiritual effects of it or any of those things. I can't give you any of those things. I'm just telling you from a personal experience that being able to do that has been transformative for me. So there's something about that and praying about that engages my body, engages my mind, as well as my spirit. And so that's part of it. But in that part of it, in being able to pray out loud, there is this really wonderful part of being able to be painfully honest in a moment.
Okay.
So I can express my gratitude, thanksgiving in a prayer out loud. It's amazing to be in this room this morning. It's amazing to be in this house, this warm house when it's cold outside. It's amazing to live with these people. It's amazing, and I'm grateful to be healthy today. On and on all these things. It's this gratitude and to know you and that you live inside of me and that you love me with this amazing love. Short side note, I don't feel loved most days and times. So being able to say that out loud is like I'm speaking to my own mind and I'm speaking to my own heart, a truth that I know to be true, even if I don't always feel it.
You're reminding yourself of that truth. Yeah.
I know there's gravity. I'm not going to fall off the earth. Sometimes I might feel like I would, but that's the same thing with spirituality. I know that I am loved, and I've experienced that love in other times. I might not be feeling it in this moment, so I can still say, I know this to be true.
Well, that's like the phrase that I think we both love it from the Psalms. It says, "Say to my soul, the Lord's been good to you." And, you remind yourself, hey, you're scared now.
Right.
But remember when this, and this happened.
Yeah.
Hey, soul.
Right.
God's been good to you. You're literally talking to reminding yourself.
And then in that, I am painfully honest about the other things. God, I know this person is not my enemy. We don't see things the same way. We don't look at things the same way, but I know that. Or God, I don't understand it, but I'm really struggling with judging this person. And I don't know why it impacts me the way it does, but I really want and need your help in this. God, I am, if I'm being honest, I think I am envious of this person, or I'm embarrassed of this thing, or I'm afraid that I will embarrass myself in this. Please don't let me be embarrassed. Please don't let me be put to shame in some way.
Yeah.
So being able to be honest in that is transformative for myself. I think it is spiritually powerful, and I think it is intimate. And so that's one thing I think you can do.
I mean, intimacy is based on the level of shared information and honesty that you have with another person.
Right.
I mean, the person that I'm closest to, I think that's you.
Thanks.
You know more about me and my failures and my fears than anyone else. And so our relationship is the most intimate,
Right.
with the exception of the relationship that I have with God, my friend, and he knows even more, those things in my heart that I don't understand.
Which is why, as we've talked about, why there's such tremendous intimacy and forgiveness and confessing. I really screwed that up. I should have been kinder to that person. I should have done this. I didn't do that. And I am so sorry. Well, there's a vulnerability in that, and that creates intimacy. So that vulnerability is a big key.
That's awesome.
The other thing that I think is important is in trying to enhance intimacy, I think, is to just wait and say, okay, what do you want here? and this decision, and to go to a party or not go to a party, to say hello to this person or not say hello, but to give this or not give that, whatever it is, and just say, what do you want here? And it's, you don't have to get weird about it or anything. Sometimes it's a pretty apparent thing, but sometimes you have to make some decisions. Making the decision to take a trip or to go see someone or to call on someone or do something like that. What do you want here? And then just get that sense and give God an opportunity to light something up in your ET light in your chest and say, oh, okay, I feel like you want to make sure I say these things, or I feel like this is not the time to go see this person or to do this thing.
Okay.
And then just trust that.
Yeah.
And then I would say the third thing that comes to mind right away is this thing of intimacy with other people.
Yeah.
So when we went through the pandemic, it was easy for most people, but I really struggled. I'm kidding.
It was a joyride for everyone else, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
No, what was funny about the pandemic was I viewed myself as someone who was a bit of an lone, not
Introvert is what you're
introvert. Yeah,
looking for.
I viewed myself as an introvert. I always told myself that's what I was, and so when the pandemic came up, I thought, man, I'm built for this. I've been practicing for this my whole life. Here we go.
This is great.
And then I got into a crisis mode, and I was totally unprepared for it.
Yeah.
I really struggled in terms of faith and spirituality. I didn't know what was going on. I felt like I'd lost everything and didn't know where God was.
Yeah.
And then to help with stuff at Friday Night Church, where your dad's, is obviously the pastor, we recorded some videos because we couldn't meet in person. So
that's right.
he'd come up to our office.
6 feet apart.
We'd do all the distancing. I would record him as he would deliver some contact messages to people and say, hey, it's okay, and do this and this since we can't get together. And, these are some things that are on my mind. We'd record all that. And then once we were done recording, we'd have conversations, and I'd be hanging out with him for a little bit, of course, distanced and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden I would feel this flood of God's presence.
Interesting.
Because I was with someone else.
Yeah.
It was something I couldn't achieve for whatever reason on my own. And yet in the moments I was with other people, I would feel God in an intimate, wonderful, personal way that I was used to feeling him only when I was alone.
You hear this phrase, it's overused a lot in big church, as we would call it, but where two or more are gathered, you always talk about,
right.
And they would usually use it in the sense of like, here we are all together, we're way more than two, the congregation, but that's so sweet. I mean, that talks so much about community when two or more are gathered. If you're just with one other person, I'm there.
Right.
And when you're with one other person, especially somebody that is, I feel like, on a pathway to find God or seeking or whatever. Yeah, you do feel him then.
Yes.
And I think that's important. It gives us context for the things we're struggling with, the things we're trying to do. And then there's intimacy. It's pretty cool that comes not only between you and God because you're there, but also with you and the other person.
Yes.
And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think you alluded to this earlier. I think it's almost like God's saying, this is how I want to be found right now. And so he knows that in us is this want and this desire to be with him, to connect with him, to get reassurance from him that things are okay, because that's what his presence does. His presence kind of sets the thing off inside of us. Oh, it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right. And I'm here, and it's going to be okay. It's the same thing that would happen for you if you were a kid and you would go to your parents because you were freaked out. But with your parents, you would know, oh, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's what his presence does for us. So he knows that we need and want that. And it seems like for whatever reason in this moment in history, he's saying, okay, to get that, I need you to go get it over here.
Yeah.
I need you to come over here and get it. And it's doing something for me to have that presence. But like you're saying, it's also doing something in the banding of people together and letting them know it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so it's not that I'm not connecting at some level on my own, but there's a lot that's happening when we're with another person.
Yeah. This idea we have of the Lone Ranger in faith or whatever is just, it doesn't work like that.
No.
I think God created it in such a way that that we experience him in communion with other people.
Yes.
And it's super important. And so, there are places where you can find, believers that are on a journey, as we would say, to be part of a community, there are probably people that you think of that are think about spiritual things and get together with them, and see what God might do in that time.
Yeah.
That's good. So I like that. So the quick recap, we talked about the idea of being very honest with God in our prayer meditation time or just throughout the day.
Yeah, and if you're not doing that, then risk it and do that.
Risk it, yeah. And then the second thing was the idea, remind me of the second one.
So the idea of A, speaking out loud.
That's right.
And then B, or two, to be.
To be or not.
Is to slow things down and then just ask.
Ask about
what do you want?
Yeah.
What is this? Or
to let God direct you.
I don't understand this scripture. I'm having a difficult time with these scriptures. I don't know what to do with that. Please help me.
Okay.
Show me what you want here. Or, what do you want me to do today? Where do you want me to go today? What do you want me, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And then the third one is the idea of finding God's presence in other people by getting together. That's really good.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to make a sticky note.
The end of it all, and what I think is kind of the walk away that struck me after this conversation with Randy and continues to strike me now, is the whole design and what we were left with is intimacy.
Yeah.
If we just went back to the dogma, if we just went back to the doctrine, if we just went back to the rules and regulations, and if you just lived on the scriptures alone, you could do all of that without intimacy. And yet the design of where we are in this call, in this moment in history, is God continuing to say, I would like to be with you. Yeah. I want to connect with you. I want to be where you are, and I want you to be with me. There's a scripture that's haunted me for a couple of weeks now. From one of the Gospels, probably John or something. But anyway, it's Jesus talking.
1 in 4 chances.
Yes, right. Thank you. I got a 25% chance of being right. But anyway, it's a haunting scripture, and it says, just as the Father knows me, you will know me.
That's
and I'm
awesome.
Thinking, holy cow. I mean, if you go through and you look at the intimacy between Jesus and God and all the things, and Jesus saying, I don't say anything unless I've heard it from the Father. I don't do anything unless I see the Father doing it. And we are literally one. And he's saying, I would like to have that same relationship with you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And so that's the design.
Yeah.
And so it's not, as Randy was saying today, there's this whole vulnerability that's happened in the last couple of years of all this stuff being stripped away and things that you thought you could depend on and things that you thought were solid and all this kind of stuff just all pulled away. And a lot of it at some level was clutter that was getting in the way of this. Yeah. And that's where we are now. And so, yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's vulnerable. Yes, it's, painful in a lot of ways. But the end result and what we're left with is this really, as you described it, as a kind of a precious jewel, this wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah. I was reminded of, I always liked that they called King David, the one who wrote the Psalms, and they called him a man after God's own heart. And it was interesting because I always liked that scripture, but then when I was younger, I used to think of it like, oh, he's after God's own heart, like he's a lot like God.
Yeah.
He's a lot like God, and he loves what God loves, and that's true. But then it's just become to mean more to me than that. Yeah. And it's like, no, he was after God's heart. He was pursuing God's heart. And to me, like when all the theology and stuff doesn't work and life's shit hits the fan, and it does for everyone, and some people have really suffered, but it hits the fan for everybody.
Right.
I don't care about the rest of it. I know that I'm after his heart, and that's what I need to survive. And so there's an intimacy in knowing that everything else can fall away and may fall away. But I want that pearl of great price. Yeah. That's the only thing that's worth it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Ask me tomorrow, I'll probably be like, where's God? No, I'm kidding. I just say,
that'd be okay too.
And it is. It's, I think we're to a place in life where what's left is raw honesty.
Yes.
And by the way, that's the only thing that would ever appeal to anybody else about faith anyway.
Right. No one needs No one needs another patented way of doing X, Y, or Z, and the 15 steps to do this and this and this, and I guarantee it. No, we just need something that's very, very real and that's very honest. And so, if Christianity can't withstand the honesty, then it's not worth it.
Agreed.
And if it's not able to connect for us, then there's a problem. So it's got to be that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Intimacy. I like it.
All right, Mystics, make a plan to join us at Dreamers Live on March 13th. Put it on your calendar. Also, if you go to dreamerscoalition.com and you just hit the live button, it has all of our dates for the 2026 season. And you can put those on your calendar and make sure to join us for those. Also, you can email us from that site, dreamerscoalition.com. You can contact us with your email address, and we'll enroll you in the Dreamery newsletter.
I like it. And one thing we want to encourage you guys with before you leave, or we leave. Are we leaving or they're leaving? We're all leaving.
Yeah. We won't be on the air anymore.
Yeah, exactly. This is a great time to share this podcast, particularly if this conversation moved you at all or brought questions to your mind or heart, whatever. Send it to a friend and say, hey, listen to this and let's get together and have coffee, like we were just talking about.
Right.
We can't say enough how important it is to go be with other people.
Absolutely.
And so
Great
do it.
reminder. Yeah. Do it. Until then, we will see you next time, and peace out.
See you later, Mystics.
Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode. And remember, continue this conversation with someone you know. This is Pioneer Dream.